Hey guys, Ponce here on the PvE, here to show you a preview of Taliyah, the new champion which was just released roughly about 20 minutes ago. So we're going to go through all her abilities, I'm going to explain what they do, and at the end of it, if you're interested in the animations, that'll be a kind of a block at the end. But yeah, first I'm just going to read the description on these. Rock surfing. Taliyah gains scaling movement speed based on level by running near walls. Only occurs out of combat, so you can't do this in combat to just zip around at crazy speeds while fighting. But as you can see, you got to go pretty much right up to the wall. You have a little bit of leeway, like this is literally right up against the wall. You can go to about there and still get this, and you get this little rock surfboard thing, and you can kind of move around. And if you move away from the wall for too long, it disappears. Now, interesting little thing, if you're by the wall, you do actually get enough time, even while away from the wall, to just kind of cover short distances and get to another wall like that. So
my journey is not yet at an end.
It's a pretty actually handy movement speed burst there like that. Or buff, I suppose. Alright, that's enough of that. Next, we're going to take a look at Threaded Volley. Kind of an interesting skill. Nothing really exists like this in the Legends currently. So, it's neat. Hurls 5 rocks in a direction, dealing a certain amount of magic damage. Looks like the AP ratio is about 0.4 in a small area around the first enemy hit. So it is AoE as well. Subsequent hits on the same unit deal 50% reduced damage, creates worked ground, which we'll talk about in a second, for 180 seconds. Taliyah gains 16% movement speed, so that scales based on the level, on worked ground. Casting Threaded Volley on worked ground only hurls 1 rock but refunds half its mana cost. So watch this. It is a skill shot. It's going to travel in a straight line towards the red bramble black thing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it creates this little worked ground thing, as you can see here. Now I'm going to shoot it again, and it's only going to shoot 1. See, so that's how that works there. But it does refund half the mana cost.
But my feet are on
now that's kind of interesting, simply because basically for 3 minutes, this area here, you know, you're buffed in sort of a defensive, technically an offensive sense as well, but you're buffed in terms of movement speed sense. But yeah, your damage becomes like utter crap, but outside of it, your damage is really good. So kind of an interesting dynamic there. 3 minutes is a really long time. Like if you're in a lane, like that means, you know, you probably shouldn't, well, fight too much in here if at all possible. But yeah, we'll see how that ends up working out in an actual game sort of scenario. Next we have her W, Seismic Shove. First cast, target a location. After a short delay, enemies caught within the area will be knocked up and dealt a certain amount of magic damage, which appears to have about a 0.5 AP ratio on it. And the second cast, pick a direction. If you do, enemies will be pushed in this direction. So I'll show you on the bramble back here. Basically, if I put it down, he's just going to get knocked away like in that direction, like up and away from me. But, oops, that's the wrong ability. I'll talk about that in a second. So I cast, just leave it alone, and he's just sort of knocked up. Actually, it looked like it was knocked straight up because I didn't pick a direction. However, if I were to go back in a couple seconds here when the cooldown is up, I'm going to basically target him towards me and knock him towards me. So like that. Whoops. Hold on a sec. Yeah, you have to actually manually click. So I don't know how this works without smart casting, but yeah, with smart casting you definitely have to click again. It's a little bit like Rumble's vector targeting on his ult. Let me try that again.
No use staying in one place.
So there we go. I picked a direction, therefore, like kind of he shunted towards me like that. Alright, next let's take a look at the E. Unraveled Earth. Places a field of dash-sensitive traps that deal magic damage with roughly, again, a 0.5-ish rate or 0.4-ish ratio, and slows enemies in the area by 25%. After 4 seconds, the traps explode, dealing damage again. Enemies dashing, being pulled, or being pulled through Unraveled Earth will trigger traps, taking magic damage again for each trap triggered. So maximum of 4 the traps can trigger. Now I believe that does interact. Yes, it says a push, so it should interact with Seismic Shove. So if I'm going to put this down like this, yeah, see, basically I shoved him back through the field and he took extra damage. So kind of a neat little thing there.
Such colors.
Alright, lastly, let's take a look at her ult, Weaver's Wall. Cast once to create a wall. Recast immediately to to ride ahead of the wall. Moving or receiving damage will cause Taliyah to stop. Weaver's wall lasts 6 seconds. Deactivating the spell will break the wall up early. So you actually create terrain, so it's like a giant Anivia wall, essentially. Let's just actually... let's kill some regular minions here. Actually, no, you know what? Let's ride into Misfortune. As you can see, it does knock up as well. I'm just going to kind of kite her around and shoot some things in.
If at first you don't succeed, throw another rock.
So I didn't trigger too many traps there, but...
Given up too much to let you stop me.
I did trigger a number of them. Also, if you just kind of leave that up, it'll explode again on its own. That's just how that one works there.
Maybe you should go over there.
Oh, wait, something else to note. While you're casting the W, you're actually locked into casting that, so you can't cast other spells. Let me show you guys that in a second. It's kind of an interesting thing to note. It's a bit of a limitation.
Infinite potential.
So I'm casting that. I had to wait basically until that cast was over. It's a little bit like kind of a mini channel where you're stuck there doing that. So, yeah, in terms of how she plays out, with the weird kind of knocking people around and, you know, potential for combo, it reminds me a little bit of Gragas in sort of a weird way, but also kind of elements of, like, Vel'Koz and maybe a tiny bit of Janna. So they call her a control mage on Riot's end. Now, in terms of, I don't know, actual carry potential, I don't know, we'll see. She seems like to be very good at ganks. Like, creating that much terrain for 6 seconds and just kind of, like, having a pseudo... Well, it's not exactly global, but, you know, I call them pseudo-global ults. Seems like it has potential. Definitely, that's a lot of movement speed to work with as well. So, I mean... and her damage doesn't seem terrible from all her spells combined. It's just, yeah, you have to... you know, work them together in a very specific way. But again, I'll get the gameplay footage up really soon, probably within a few hours. You know, I'm going to play a couple new games, or full games, in a moment, and try and get that for you guys. So, of course, check the description and annotations below. Other than that, let's do the animations. As I said, I would do that at the end of the video. We'll do all the basic ones, the recall animation and the death animation. So here you go. Here's the taunt.
Go ahead. Push me. We'll both find out what I'm made of. What an interesting pattern.
All right, let me just put a ward here, and then actually while we're... Yeah, let's just put that there. And here's the recall animation.
I think I've learned what I need to here. No choice is written in stone.
Oh, I don't have teleport. Never mind, I took Ignite. I forgot about that. It's fine, though, because I have my ult to travel probably into a tower or something. So long as the
desert blooms, there is hope.
Oh, whoops. Yeah, you have to cast it again instantly. Oh well. We can actually do Suicide by Misfortune. Because I've been sitting, you know, looking at the ability so long, I'm under-leveled. This'll make the... Oh, she's just gonna run. Okay, we can die to minions instead. Alright, there you go. Dead Taliyah. Yeah, so as I said, I will have a full gameplay video up, probably of her in mid lane. Actually, this is now a good time to try and figure this out. She doesn't really seem like a top... Well, I think you probably could manage top laner with her ability, like her mobility, plus does have a number of escape options. So, well, a number has a escape option. So I could probably manage her top. You know, I mean, I can manage anything top essentially, but make it work in sort of a realistic sense, sort of. Most likely mid, given her roaming abilities, is optimal. In terms of support, I guess she wouldn't make a terrible support now that I think of it. The AoE is a bit dangerous in terms of sort of pushing lanes up and stuff, but kicks out an okay amount of damage, has a knock-up. I don't think it's ideal, but I think, you know, if you had to do it, you could. I'll experiment with it. Anyway, that's it from me, guys. Thanks for watching, and see you around. And, of course, once again, check the description annotations for when the full gameplay videos are up, as they will be probably uploaded within a few hours of this video being uploaded. So, thanks again. I'll see you around.